Hi, welcome to Basic Concepts of Chemical Bonding, Part 4 by Mindy Bedrosian. We're just going to finish up resonance structures, and we're going to do a practice one and discuss how you determine which Lewis structure is the valid one. Isn't that a pretty blue crayon? In the previous Part 3, we went over how to determine formal charge on a possible structure. And we looked at the sulfate ion specifically. That's cool. But there might be a chance that this polyatomic ion has more than one possible structure, that it can resonate, have a resonating structure. So let's look at the possible resonance structure. And here comes the picture. And if you recall, sulfur is one of those that can fill its empty d orbitals with extra electrons. That's what you were seeing here. So, since there are two different types of oxygens, one with single bonds and one with double bonds, you'll need to determine the formal charge of each type. You should pause now and see if you can do it by yourself. Okay, here we go. For oxygen with single bonds, remember how we do it. In this picture here, it has 6 unshared electrons plus 1/2 the shared. It shares 2. And that gives you the initial valence charge of 7. To figure out formal charge, we consider the atom, the free atom of oxygen has 6 unshared electrons, minus the 7 from above gives us a formal charge of -1. And so each single bonded oxygen will have a -1. I didn't put on in each one, but there it is. You should know that each single bonded oxygen has a charge of -1. Now we have to do oxygen with double bonds. If you take a look at this, it only has 4 unshared electrons. Plus the shared, it has 4 shared ones. So you do the math, and that comes out to 6. Now to determine formal charge, again, consider oxygen as a free atom from the periodic table. It has 6 unshared electrons, minus the 6 from above. So the formal charge for the oxygen with double bonds is a 0. And I'll just write that in on some of them. Now you have to determine the formal charge for sulfur. Taking a look at sulfur here in the picture has no unshared electrons, and it shares 12 of them. Do the math, and this comes out to 6. To determine formal charge, consider sulfur from the periodic table. It's got 6 unshared electrons in its valence shell. So we do 6 minus 6 from above. That equals 0. And we'll write that 0 in on that sulfur. And there we go. These are the formal charges. We'll have to draw back our little googly monster from before. Here's our little 3-eyed googly monster. And the googly monster wants you to take note of the fact that if you add up all the charges for every atom there that you see, all the oxygens, note that the charges on the species remains the same at -2. Wow, so this works as well. Taking you back from the previous day's lecture on Part 3, you will see I gave you a note that you did not understand, but now you will. If non-equivalent Lewis structures exist, then those with formal charges closest to 0 best describes the bonding. So which one works? This one. Therefore, the structure with the 2 double bonds, the resonating structure, is preferred.